Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ryan, and today we'll be discussing the Nebraska Cornhuskers football schedule for the 2023 season. Last year, it was not a good year for Nebraska. I'm pretty sure they went 4-8, and Scott Frost got canned. He got up and out of there. So they got Matt Rule, who has proven to be very successful with other programs like Baylor and Temple, teams like that. But usually in his first year, they aren't that good. Second year is when they make that jump, and let's see what happens this year with them. Maybe that changes around. Maybe Nebraska might make a bowl game. That'd be surprising, but we're going to go through the schedule and all that. But first, let's talk about the spring game, because that's probably the best thing you can look at to get an analyzation of how this team's going to be playing. They had 5 fumbles, and that was, some of them they recovered offensively, some of them the defense recovered. So, but 5 turnovers is not good. Putting the ball on the ground 5 times is not a good sign for Nebraska. Jeff Sims, who looks like it's going to be the quarterback, I'm pretty sure he was their quarterback last year. He doesn't look good, and he's more bad than good, in my opinion. He's pretty mobile, but his throwing is very much inaccurate. But they don't have a lot of receivers that can get open consistently to help him. So this team is definitely a work in progress. Their defense doesn't look that bad. They've had some pretty good performances last year, and they have some pretty bad performances. But it's all about, can this offense be somewhat consistent? Can you get a consistency from this offense? Last year you had 6 games that you did not score 20 points or more. That is bad. That is very bad. In comparison, Iowa had 7 of those same games. And Iowa might be the worst offense I have ever seen. They were terrible. But because of this, you got, again, Matt Rule is supposed to be a very good coach for offense and just winning purposes. Turnovers are going to be a problem, and one good thing you can take away from this is that your kicker did pretty good in the spring game. But let's jump into the schedule for this team. First up, you're at Minnesota. That is not an easy game to start off with. You're at Minnesota. That is a cold environment to start off your playing, especially for the starting from Matt Rule. I got Minnesota beating Nebraska, so I got Nebraska dropping the first game of the year. Then you're at Colorado facing Deion Sanders, the 2 main coaches, I'd say, of programs that were good, that aren't anymore, that they're trying to rebuild. 2 new coaches for them, Deion Sanders at Colorado, and then Matt Rule at Nebraska. This game could be close, but I got Nebraska beating Colorado. It could be close, but I think Nebraska, this team is more familiar with each other than Colorado's is, in my opinion. I think Colorado teams are maybe more fun to watch. But Matt Rule's had guaranteed success with coaching across the whole board of the Big 12, and then I forgot where Temple is conference-wise. I'll put it where they are. But Nebraska is more familiar with each other, and Colorado has the most transfers out of anyone, so they have to mesh over time. That'll take a couple years, I feel like. So I got Nebraska winning this one. And then you're at home versus Northern Illinois. You should be able to beat Northern Illinois, and I think you will. So I got Wisconsin. I got Nebraska beating Northern Illinois. I'm sorry, I just did a Wisconsin video. So, and then you're at home versus Louisiana Tech. You're going to beat Louisiana Tech. So right now you're on a 3-game winning streak. I don't know the last time you've been on a 3-game winning streak. So if you're a Nebraska fan at this point, you should be pretty excited. And then you're at home versus Michigan. Don't get your hopes up. You're not going to beat Michigan. This team is so good. This is the best team Jim Harbaugh's ever had in college football in general, probably. And this is the best team's definitely had at Michigan. Last year, Michigan almost won the national title. Almost should have made it. Let's be honest, they were a better team than TCU. Michigan played an okay game, and TCU played their best game. So TCU earned it. TCU did earn it more than Michigan, but yeah. Michigan has a Heisman contender, in my opinion, the Blake Corum. You got the best run game with him and Donovan Edwards. You got the best run game. You got the best run blockers. You got the best offensive line. And J.J. McCarthy. He's pretty good at running the ball, too. And he's got way better at throwing the ball. So I got Nebraska losing this one, probably in the blowout. Then you're at Illinois. Illinois was pretty good last year. They did lose Chase Brown to the draft. But I think Illinois is able to continue what they did last year. Not to the, I think 9 wins was they got last year. I don't think they're going to get that much. Maybe 7 wins you're looking at, which is still better than what Nebraska was and probably will be. So I got Illinois winning this one. So I got Nebraska dropping this one. Then you're at home versus Northwestern. I think you will beat Northwestern. Northwestern is a complete mess. And I just don't see Northwestern bouncing back for the next couple of years. So I got Nebraska winning this one. And then you're at home again versus Purdue, playing Hudson Card, former Texas quarterback who was close to beating A&M. I mean, not A&M, Bama at one point. But he's at Purdue now, and he seems to be healthy. I think this could be a close one. I think Purdue is not great. I don't think they're bad. I think Nebraska, with their turnover problems, will make some mistakes. I think a lot of times in close games, teams that are just have turnover problems definitely show their turnover problems whenever it comes close in clutch game situations. I think Purdue has been consistently better recently than Nebraska, so I think Purdue is more ready for this moment. I got Purdue beating Nebraska, and probably a close one. They're more familiar with close games and actually winning them. So yeah, actually that's some disrespect in Nebraska. But anyways, then you're at Michigan State. Michigan State's not great, but it's not an easy place to play at. I got Michigan State beating Nebraska. So right now you're on a 2-game losing streak, and then you're at home versus Maryland, facing Tua Tagovailoa. I'm pretty sure that's his name. I'll put up his name if I said it wrong. And Maryland's actually pretty good. Maryland is not half bad. They're the team that's always like they're 3-0 to start off the year, and then they have to play Michigan or play Ohio State or Penn State, and then they get beat, and teams are like, oh, this is a great win for Michigan or Ohio State or Penn State. But they're not, but they beat everyone else. It's strange. But I got Maryland beating Nebraska, so it could be, I don't think it's going to be close. I got Maryland just beating them up, so I got Nebraska losing this one. Then you need to win out to keep your bowl chances alive. You're at Wisconsin. Last year, you almost beat Wisconsin. It was very much close. I think it was 15-14. Very much a low-scoring game. But I think Wisconsin is going to be pretty good this year. Luke Fickell's a new head coach. And I think because of that, at Wisconsin's probably going to be contending for a possible Big Ten opportunity to make the championship game. Maybe probably not win it, but at least make it. And that's something in itself. I got Wisconsin beating Nebraska. And then to finish off the year, you got Iowa at Nebraska. Pretty much to beat Iowa, you just need to get the 14 points. And I think Nebraska can do that to end off the year like they did last year with a win over Iowa. I'm not impressed with Iowa. I know they have Cade McNamara, quarterback, but I will believe it when I see it whenever Iowa goes back and can put up 20 points per game against mid-level to decent level to good level teams. I will believe that when I see that. So I got Nebraska going 5-7 this year. Pretty good year, actually. 5-7 for a lot of teams seems like a very disappointing year. For Nebraska, that shows improvement. Matt Rule, hopefully you get a couple Big Ten wins here and there. Get your out-of-conference win against Colorado. You need to start off this year 3-1. If you can beat Minnesota, great. This Cornhusker fandom will go crazy if they can beat Minnesota. But start off the year 3-1. Try to beat some of these couple teams. If you can make a bowl game, that'd be great. Like I could possibly see you possibly beating Michigan State somehow on the road. Or maybe something breaks right and you beat Purdue. Something like that. Maybe upset Minnesota. Something like that. But probably not. You probably need a good home crowd and just some luck to go your way. Because you have a lot of turnover problems, when I talked about before. Turnover problems show the most when they matter the most. So yeah. But put down in the comments what you feel about this. Leave your own opinion. I know there's a lot of Nebraska fans out there, the Cornhuskers. I've never had an era in my lifetime that Nebraska was good. The last time I remember Nebraska being ranked in like an actually somewhat good situation is whenever Melvin Gordon went for 400-something yards. I saw that live. That was absolutely terrible rush defense from Nebraska. That broke a record. In 3 quarters, he broke the rushing record and for a game. Melvin Gordon did. Shout to Melvin Gordon for what he did at Wisconsin. But yeah, that was the last time I remember Nebraska being somewhat relevant, and it's been downhill ever since. So hopefully, I want to see in my lifetime Nebraska be somewhat good. So put down in the comments what you feel about this. I know they have a great history, but yeah, I would like to see it. Hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe if you like this type of stuff. We talk about college football every day. We go over schedules. We talk about them in general. Probably my next video will be talking about either another Big Ten school, maybe a Big 12, or I talk about Bama because Bama's Bama and they do Bama type of things. So yeah, hope you all have a great day. Stay safe, y'all. And yeah, God bless y'all.